I hope all is well. This is That Square Sports Podcast. I'm here to talk about the best to the worst coaching job in the NFL, which job they should take, which job they should stay away from. Let's dive in, shall we? Number one, it's 7 teams right now. Technically, it's 8. I'm going to go ahead and give the nod to the Raiders. Antonio Pierce, he's got the job in my eyes. If they go any other direction than that, just fire the whole damn organization. Just terrible. First things first, though, we've got Atlanta, Washington, Seattle, Carolina, Chargers, New England, Tennessee. These are all the empty vacant spots right now for coaching outside of the Raiders. And I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to tell you from best to worst position what I think is the best place to go. First things up, number one, of course, is Atlanta. Why Atlanta over all the rest of them? This is the reason why. Skill position, Kyle Pitts, if he stays. Okay, if he goes, fine. Bijan Robinson, Algier. Then on top of that, you've got, of course, a young receiver named Drake London. These guys fit this criteria, and they have the draft capital. Offensive line is a B plus. Defense also very strong as well, not too bad. The division is horrible, by the way. Let's even just dive into that. Carolina, Tampa, and New Orleans. Nobody wanted to win it this year, so you automatically come in where you don't have to win that many games off rip. Talent-wise is there. Just understanding the offense and what I'm tripping. Number one thing they need to do is draft a quarterback. And where are they picking at in the top 10? Why is this not the best coaching position / job in the market right now? Atlanta is truthfully hot Atlanta. And then on top of that, also in free agency, they're number 16 with $37 million to play with. And I understand in the NFL world, that's not a lot of money, especially with the cap exceeding to $240 million next year in 2024. I think that this is a great market. Number one job out of all coaching jobs right now. It's in the empty spots for, of course, they're the ones that got fired. I think Arthur Smith didn't know what he was doing, what he had, and Atlanta's going to take advantage. Whoever jumps in is going to take advantage of Atlanta. Number 2 is Washington Commanders. Yes, Washington Commanders fall right behind Atlanta. They already have a quarterback, and they have the draft capital. Now, the only reason why they're not number 1 is because, they have to hit on their draft capital. And on top of that, Montez Sweat, the departure going to the Bears, Chase Young going to the 49ers, where I don't understand why the league even made that even possible. It's like Chris Paul going to the Lakers back in the day. I don't know why or how that happened, but they got some second rounders out of the deal. This is what makes it great for Washington. They've got Sam Howell, Eric Bieniemy, who's probably going to be offensive coordinator / probably head coach. That's what they need to do. But there's still a spot. It's still open. They haven't confirmed it yet. All I'm saying is Sam Howell's there. Jahad Dotson is there. Terry McLaurin is there. Logan Thomas is there. Let me tell you right now, guys. Brian Robinson is also there. Brian Robinson Jr. is also there. I'm sorry. Gibson is still there. They have the offense to light it up. I don't know if you guys watched them against the Eagles this year, but man, when I tell you it was truthfully a game to watch, they actually played and kept up with the Eagles. Now, I know right now the Eagles limp to the playoffs. That's a big deal in the NFC East. Huge deal right now, okay? So pretty much most teams are looking for a quarterback. They have a guy there that's already been vetted in, and he understands the process, understands the roles, got a year under his belt. I'm just saying. And then on top of that, to make the job even sweeter, they are listed at number 1 with $86 million in salary cap space to play with in free agency, coming up in this free agency. So I don't know what to tell you, but when you got money, you got time, and you can bring anybody in that you want. Sign the head coach. You can drop some big bag on him. They can go get a bag there, or you can go get a bag with your players. Washington is the second best place on this list. At number 3, Seattle. Okay, right now they have a quarterback, Geno Smith, Andrew Luck. They're not amazing. No. Are they ideal? Not in my book, probably not in yours either, but they get the job done. They manage the game very well. With that being said, they have a quarterback. They have a playoff caliber roster / team. And what I mean by caliber team / roster is they've got people in position. They don't have to draft a quarterback right away. They can go out and they can win the division. And yes, I did say they could win the division as I lower my voice on that one because the Rams are getting better. And yes, 49ers is there. And also Arizona should probably pop up next year to a Kyler Murray being fully healthy. I get that. But this team will compete. And I know that I put them at number 3, right behind Washington, for the simple fact that they're in a way harder division right now because two teams are already established. They're already blue bloods in the NFL for the past few years. They've both been to the Super Bowl, which is the 49ers and the Rams. You're going against McVay and Shanahan, and the next guy that's going to be up there in Seattle's got to be an offensive-minded genius. You've got Tyler Lockett, who is aging. You probably go in there, but you've already addressed that with Smith and Jigba. Then on top of that, you've got an angry Metcalf. But hey, if you feed him the ball, he's going to be straight. Then they got Killer K9, a.k.a. Kenneth Walker III, who's at running back. Zach Sharpening, who's going to be their backup. Dude, this team is already set in stone and ready to go. They just need a good guy at the helm, head coach. And then on top of that, let's go ahead and state this real quick. Then on top of that, of course, if you're going to make a dive in free agency, this is where it really hurts, and that pushed them back a little bit. So because they've expedited their process through the draft, and they've pretty much known that Russell Wilson left them in a chokehold, and they got out of it and sent it to Denver, which, yeah, Denver, you lost that one badly. I'm going to say this. They only got $4 million left. They're number 23 in the free agency before they go into the negative. So a lot of guys got to go, got to come and go, obviously. See a lot of extensions this year, so on and so forth. This is where the job doesn't seem as fun, but hey, I understand. I get it. They've got stuff to play with up in Seattle. They've got the tools already there. They were invested from last year. It was supposed to be a down year for them, and they ended up going to the playoffs anyways. This year obviously was a down year. Geno Smith got hurt. Drew Lock had to step in. Did okay, did decent in some games. In some games you were like, hey, let's get this guy out of here. So whatever coach comes there, they must understand that, yes, they don't need a quarterback right away, but take care of what you got. It's already set in stone, but not like Atlanta where they're all super duper young and ready to go. It's just a little bit more of they don't have that much money to bring in veterans. That's why Seattle fell to number 3 in my book. Number 4, surprise, surprise. Yes, Carolina Panthers. This job is not as bad as you think. Once again, this job is not as bad as what you think. David Tepper, I get it. He's a crazy type of owner / crazy boss, right? I always had this thing when I do work in my job. My boss says this: do what makes your boss happy and you will always have a career. I don't understand why, but it makes sense. David Tepper wants to control the team, obviously. So he's going to have to get a puppet coach. But at the same time, I'm not going to lie, guys. If he gets the right coach, he'll shut up and he'll watch from the stands and enjoy his decision that he made because technically he controlled the decision. So I'm going to say this for Carolina. The only reason why I put them at number 4 ahead of a lot of other teams that I'm going to mention here shortly is the fact that they have the financial money, just the money, and the players are young. When I say the salary cap, they've got $40 million left over. They're sitting at number 13, which is about middle of the pack in the NFL. Okay, that's great. You're like, well, where's it coming from? Where's it coming from? Dude, automatically, they don't have any draft picks. So this is a job that you take. It's going to take about 3 to 4 years. Really 3 years, to be honest with you. They're going to have to take time. That's what's going to happen. You're guaranteed 2 years at this job. And the reason why I say this is because you cannot fix what has been tore up already, right? So you have to accept the fact that the next year you don't have a first round draft pick. Okay, so be it. You know what you do? You go draft your offensive line right away. Skill players right away. Because that defensive side of the ball is set. That defense is 100% ready to go, and they're young, and they ain't playing. They is not playing. Did you see how they played against Tampa Bay in the season finale? Yeah, that's a playoff team. That's a playoff team. They're only putting up 9 points against a team that ain't going nowhere. That's how Carolina's defense played all season long. So once again, when I say in this draft, go ahead and protect Bryce Young. You got it. You got to accept it. Bryce Young's going to be your guy for next year, and then after that, if it doesn't work out, cash them chips, go get you another quarterback. I'm not playing with you. Get rid of them. But you guys, Carolina was failed. They failed Bryce Young. And I like to tell you that if you watch some of the tape, Bryce Young is not horrible. He's just learning. What is he supposed to do when the pocket is collapsing? What is he supposed to do when the offensive line can't block for more than 2 seconds? What is he supposed to do? And with that being said, you have an aging receiver, Adam Thielen, who's out there still killing at his age, by the way. I shouldn't say that. He's reversing the clock as much as he can. But if you can't get the ball to him, then it is so what it is. DJ Shark can't stay on the field. This is why I say go ahead, invest in that offense, take that $40 million in salary cap, spruce it up. Obviously, in the draft, go get offensive linemen. Take care of business. This is how you rebuild them. And yes, they're in the NFC South, which is not the most I guess, terrifying division, right? So go ahead, take this job. You got 2 years guaranteed. That third year, now you're on the hot seat if you ain't doing nothing. But I promise you, if you can win more than 5 games, the expectation of the bar is so low in Carolina. If you can win more than 5 games, dude, you've already done a justice to the city of Carolina, to the states of Carolina, South and North Carolina. You've already won. Why not? This is the lowest expectation job amongst all the marketing vacancies right now because people are afraid to take it. You just get cool with David Tepper. You tell him, hey, sit down, drink a smoothie, eat some popcorn. We're going to win a couple of games. We're going to lose a lot at first, but guarantee you have to see the vision that they're going to have to bring in. That is why I say Carolina's good. It's not as bad as you think. The defense is already set, and if you don't know me, you should know by now, defense wins championships. Just holla at me. Holla at me with that one. But for more or less, like I said, they're 13 in the salary cap, sitting with 40 million. They have money to play with. Defense is straight. All you got to do is just invest in the offense. I don't care if Carolina goes straight all, 6 picks I think they have in the draft? 6 picks go straight all committed to the offense. Guess what? At least they got youth. Now they've got time, and you mold that youth up, and you make them boys become men on that football field. And in a division where it's a little sus, don't even worry about it. You come in number 2 or number 1 in that division next year, you have already stamped as coach of the year. You've already stamped as coach of the year. Just saying. Next up is going to be the Los Angeles Chargers. You're like, what? Yes, they're number 5 in my book in the coaching vacancies. And most people have them at number 1 because, we have Justin Herbert, which is what I wrote in my notes. They have a QB and they need everything else. Literally, they need everything else. They have an aging Derwin James. They have an aging Khalil Mack who wants to get paid. Joey Bosa who can't even stay on the field. He's always hurt. And trust me, he wants to get paid as well too. Then on top of that, the offensive line on the left side is amazing. The right side, I don't know what's going on over there. On the contrary to believe, my brothers, what about Austin Eckler? Remember the whole Melvin Gordon situation, how that was supposed to pan out and they sent him off to Denver, and then Austin Eckler has this great year, and then all of a sudden defenses start to figure him out, and then he gets hurt a lot, ankle injury, back and forth, the Isaiah Spiller, Joshua Kelly project. I don't know what's going on with the running back room, but ever since I was a child, the Chargers have always had a good running back room. This is the first time in my life where I can honestly say the Lightning Bolts don't have a good running back room. And if it were me, why not? Go out and invest. But here's the problem with Kansas. Here's the problem with the Los Angeles Chargers. $34 million negative in the salary cap for next year, which means they're stuck with what they got. They're at number 29 out of 32. They don't have any money. No manyan, as they say in Atlanta. No money. They have nothing. So why in the world would you take this job with aging players? You only have a quarterback that's good. Keenan Allen, Jesus Christ. Keenan Allen is a dog. But dogs have their years too. Mike Williams can't even stay on the field. Quentin Johnson can't catch a cold in the goddamn November. December. Is that the same? Can't catch a cold in the winter, whatever. He can't catch it all. I don't know what's going on with him. So right now, I'm looking at what the Chargers have, and Staley has done a number. He has done a number in LA where it is just horrible. It is just bad. And it makes me say to myself, if you take this job, you are expected to win right away. But look at what you have to deal with. This team is automatically, they say he's a playoff team. The analysis are going to mess. Whoever gets this job, the analysis are going to mess them up badly because the media hype already has the Chargers as this so-called great team that just missed out on the playoffs. No, the Chargers were bad. They were just bad, okay? They have been bad. They have been bad since the second half of the Jacksonville Jaguar game versus the Chargers in the playoffs last year. That's how bad they've been. They have been bad all along. It has not been sugarcoated. It has not been hidden. Staley was not the guy. Okay, great. We get that. We moved on. That was the big part of the battle. The second thing is realizing, do I need to keep Khalil Mack? Do I need to keep Joey Bosa? I know that edge rushers seem to be coming hard when every draft they have these dog edge rushers coming out. Thibodeau, Karlaftis, Will Anderson. I mean, I could just name some. Go and get one in the draft. But the capital that they have is negative $34 million. They owe money to them. Even with the cap space going up to $240 million, they still owe money. And that's why the Chargers are in a bad position right now. This is just not a good job to take. I'm telling you, it is not fun for everyone. But whoever does take this job, you're expected to win. You're expected to be competing with Patrick Mahomes. And, I didn't even get into that. The division alone, Mahomes, Well, after that, really, it's just the Raiders and the Charger of the Broncos, which is the Broncos are a dumpster fire. Sean Payton can't stop cussing out Russell Wilson every second, and the Raiders, if they go and draft a quarterback and they keep Antonio Pierce, they'll be somewhat decent. But I don't know if Devontae Adams is staying. So the division is really Chiefs versus everybody, and the Chargers and the Chiefs seem to be the only two teams in that division, right? But the measuring stick is so far in between right now. And yeah, I'll get to the Chiefs. I'll do a whole video about that later. But as of right now, if you made it this far, please like, comment, and of course subscribe. I'm at 963 subscribers. I'm trying to get to 1,000 before April. Please help me meet my mission. Come on. What is it to it? But anyways, more or less, Chargers they need everything else. They've got Justin Herbert, which I get is great, but they just need everything else. Number 6 on the list is New England. And the reason why New England is number 6 on this list is because they just need NFL players. They just need bodies. Mac Jones didn't work out. Zappe had a great, I guess, end of season type play. I'm not sure. They're picking at number 3, I believe, in the draft, but it's the Bears, Washington, and then, of course, New England. And then on top of that, Bill Belichick is done with the whole, he's just done with the organization. So you're really New England, you've got to fill the biggest shoes probably in NFL history outside of Bill Parcells, Bill Walsh, and, Vince Lombardi. You've got, one of the greatest coaches ever. You have to go right behind him. And it's not like this fan base is going to be patient with you. It's New England, clam chowder. They going to go hard on you, dog. It's not going to be easy. So I want you to know that deep down inside, once you take this challenge on, that you will always be constantly compared to Bill Belichick. And it's besides the players, because I believe that this roster, I believe that the Patriots can flip this around probably within 2 to 3 years, and they can go back to being, somewhat decent. Because I think that by that time, the Dolphins have been aged out. The Bills probably, Josh Allen's throwing a pick somewhere in the country, somewhere out there. Jets are going to be the Jets. Like, I don't know what the Jets are doing. I really don't know, man. I feel so sorry for Salah. But just with that being said, the NFC East has been, they've been trash my whole life until 2019. That's when they somewhat got decent. But before then, New England's ran it, and it's just time for them to break it down and break it all the way down. Get rid of Mac Jones, get rid of Zappe, find you some offensive players, get you a better defense, help Matt Judon while he's still there, while he's still got the locks, help him out. And believe it or not, the actually salary cap position is really good. They got $75 million coming into 2024 next year, which is not horrible. It's not bad, but they just need so many players. They need so much. So that's really where it's at with New England. Just draft really well accordingly. A quarterback's not going to save you. It's going to take more than that. A quarterback is not going to save you. With that being said, last but not least, dead last on the list, because I did not see this firing coming. I made a video about this too, but I'm very confused on what Tennessee is doing. They got rid of Mike Vrabel, and like I said, this will get ugly before it gets good. And the sad thing about it is they should have traded Henry when they had the chance. Because now Derrick Henry's about to hit free agency and probably walk, and you're going to get nothing out of the deal. But if you could trade Henry, trade Henry. But I'm just saying, he's probably going to walk out of this deal to a better situation, and the Titans are just left out to dry, which sucks, right? Because I hate to say this, the Chargers are sitting at number 2 when it comes to the free agency. With salary cap at $77 million for 2024. Then on top of that, they've got a young quarterback, Will Levis, a horrible offensive line. Then on top of that, their defense is a joke. The receiving corps, if DeAndre Hopkins decides to stay, he's probably going to leave more than likely. And then on top of that, I can't name another receiver. Oh, my bad. Traylon Burks, the guy they got a couple years ago. High pick. Bust. Anyways, it's just a crap show over there in Tennessee. I can't tell you how bad it's going to be. If you're a coach, you're going to take this job. It just does not seem inviting. It does not seem fun. But you're going to have to go out and you're going to have to spend a lot of money. They do have all 7 of their picks. So there's the bright side of that. But it depends on who you're bringing in, right? Because most of the edge rushers that you probably want are probably going to be asking for at least what the market's going to give them. So that's going to be only enough to bring in maybe 1 or 2 players. Then after that, it's a dog-eat-dog world, man. Dog-eat-dog world. So With that being said, guys, y'all let me know in the comments what you think. Who has the best coaching job, worst coaching job? Give me your order. With that, hey, I'm about to take it out. About to go ahead and do another video here in a second. But, hey, yo, peace.